Cool, cool. Well, with that said, if he's ready to go, I'm ready to go. So we're all going to do this. Late ill kid at OneYoungsta, holding it down, bringing that street geek and nerd soul. What is up, my people? Today, oh yeah, coming with another wonderful episode of Thumbnails. We're here to talk about the awesome, amazing, incredible series finale, actually, not even season, series finale of Star Wars, The Clone Wars. Sad to see it go, but it went out in a good fashion. It went out real good. Real good. So I'm joined by two special guests. Down below to the south, we have Dan Jedi Time saying on Twitter. What's up, man?
Yo, all's well in the world of the fourth.
May the fourth be with you.
All's well except for Shop Disney, but I won't. That was quite difficult.
And over to the right or left, depending on how it's translating this footage or transcoding it, we have Rashad. What's up? A new person that I just found out about today.
Hey,
Reeves. What's up?
How you doing, man? How you doing?
Not bad, not bad. Feeling good. All right. So I guess Rashad first. What are your general feelings from this season? And do you feel that it's a satisfying end to the Clone Wars?
Ultimately, the feeling is thumbs up on my end. Definitely a satisfying end to the Clone Wars, especially these last four. Like those last four really brought it home. The earlier stuff is, I'm not hating the earlier stuff, but it is what it is. Okay. But the last four really this one more loose end connection, tying in all the craziness about to happen in episode 3, and like just giving us a little bit more of this is good. Thumbs up from me. Thumbs up, including the stuff that I don't like Obi-Wan. So like including that's also a thumbs up. Like definitely the loser he's always been, and that's good too. So it stays the same. I know I'm hot with these Obi-Wan takes, but he did exactly what I thought he would do. There it is, Obi-Wan. I don't know. You don't know what to do. Whatever. Your hands are full. I get it. It's too much. Let Ahsoka solve it. Yeah, I get it. Let Ahsoka talk to him. But yeah, it was good.
And yourself, Dan, what's up? How you feeling about it?
I've enjoyed this last season. And so it was interesting. So after the episode, I watched both the last kind of chunk of the AfterBuzz reaction to it, and Dave Filoni's interview on I think it was EW, but I can't remember, this morning. And he said, because obviously most of the audio for this was recorded back when the show was unceremoniously canceled.
Oh wow, so I didn't know that. No, I didn't know that.
Most of it was pretty much already. They made a couple of little changes. Apparently it wasn't always gonna cross over with episode 3, which I found interesting, but then later on, he was like, yeah, I'm gonna do that, because obviously, Okay. And the other thing which I found was great for these last 4 is that he said that the reason that it's so focused on Ahsoka and Rex is because he really sees the whole series as kind of mainly from their eyes, because we have all the clone stuff, and then we have our eyes through Ahsoka being kind of the Padawan and, learning and growing with everything. So that's why he kind of was like, oh, I have Obi-Wan there, I have Anakin there, have a little bit of Palpatine, a little bit of this, a little bit of that from the movie. But mostly it's seeing it from their point of view. Because before the episode came out, I was kind of like, oh, I hope maybe she meets up with Bail Organa on that little secret base that they meet up on at the end of the movie, and maybe she kind of knows or something. But I was like, you know what, it's good that she kind of, because everyone thinks she's gone, so it's
right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, even Darth Vader thinks he's dead, and in a sort of a reflective, sad type of scene. I enjoyed the first couple of episodes with getting Fives back. Then the stuff with Trace, I was like, I was like, why are we doing this? Why are we
I mean,
here?
I think it was just, to show, because just literally to show that, what what Ahsoka's status was after leaving. And then it was obviously, with the spice runners and the things, and then obviously connecting to Maul and all the.
Yeah.
So that was like,
yeah, I can see that
kind of connection. And then plus, we had Bo-Katan and what's her mother's name? Sabine's mom.
Oh wait, who's Sabine's mom? See, I'm not my Rebels knowledge is foggy. So I was trying to see how that whole Mandalorian thing connects.
She was only, she was technically one of the.
I can remember.
Oh right, one of Maul's people. Was she one of Maul's people?
No. So she was. We had Bo-Katan kind of like knowing, like kind of following Ahsoka during the first couple episodes of that. So she had other people next to her, and one of them was was Sabine's mother. And then later,
so I was trying to get that connection. Okay.
Yeah, and then once they get on the ship, like later on, once they get to Mandalore, the helmets are off, and the woman on her right, our left, with the black hair is Sabine's mother.
Okay, yeah, I did catch that. I was a little foggy. I need to rewatch Rebels now.
Yeah, well, that's also something that made me like. I was like, oh man, now I really want to just rewatch Rebels.
Yeah, I'm gonna go watch.
The entire series and made me want. It's like, oh.
Yeah, I'll go rewatch it now to catch up and make those connections again. Yeah, and I do like what you mentioned about the Darth Vader moment, man. I thought that was a powerful moment. I love that. I love Vader. I'm into Star Wars because of Anakin. Like I'm always been. I didn't really like the old movies, but Vader, like it was always Vader for me, and then Anakin now. And I just like that his connections. Like he can't let go. Like he really doesn't let go. Like this is all once again that thing with him, right? He can't fully let people go. Like he just can't do it. Like no matter how evil he becomes or what he does.
Well, I love that it's all the dark sideness of like him growing. It's like what it's like. It's like Zuko in Avatar.
Yeah.
His initial like for his power is like all the hate and anger and everything, and then once he loses that and he's like, oh, I can't use my powers anymore. So then he has to so this is kind of the thing where he gets it because it's all the Sith thing to get it from your hate, use your feelings and whatever.
Yeah. No, that's good. Like I like him being sad that Ahsoka's gone. Like I mean it was good. I love that scene. That was good.
Although in the AfterBuzz little video that I mentioned, two of the hosts had separate opinions on that. One person thought that Vader realized that she was dead, and another person thought that he suspected she might be alive. And then when they mentioned, in Rebels, when they see each other for the first time and, she senses that it's really Anakin because she doesn't, she feels, obviously we saw that she feels what happened, but I don't know how much how much she realizes it, because obviously in Rebels she's suspecting it but is surprised. And then I think he's kind of, because I think if I'm remembering correctly, he kind of says the apprentice in like
I think his words were like the apprentice lives or something like that.
Yeah, so maybe he wasn't sure necessarily.
Yeah,
right. I got the vibe that he wasn't because of the Rebel scene. Like he thought she was gone too, and he just keeping her lightsaber as a reminder. Because I feel like he's so dang gum sentimental and all that angst. So I'm
well, if you have been reading the Darth Vader comics the past like 4 years.
I read some of it. I read volume 1. I really liked it. I'm gonna read the rest.
That whole omnibus, the first chunk, but going into the second one is really interesting because we get to dive into his mind and seeing he did in the first one, in the first run of it too, but there's a lot of moments of him like having flashbacks of like Padme and like all this stuff. And then in the current new run that is currently on pause, they specifically wanted less speech from him, so we get a lot of his thought processes. So and he just it's basically what you're saying, like he thinks about everything in his past all the time.
Right.
That's what makes him so like even in that moment in what is it? Return of the Jedi, where you know Luke comes to him and he's like, "Yo, you know, I realize that you were once Anakin Skywalker, my father. Come back, you know, let's get, you know, come back to me, blah blah blah." And he has that moment where he says it's too late for me, and then you know that it's such a real moment because that even that small pause from him, you know that he has kind of stewed with this stuff for years. Like I've really gone probably past, you know, the point of no return. And also for someone who thought his children were dead, I imagine once he realized the name, and unfortunately we only get it in the comics, but once he realizes the name of the pilot, because in the comics he sends Boba Fett to find out who the pilot was. And Boba Fett comes back, he's like, I don't know, some dude named Luke Skywalker. And he was like, say it, huh? because you know, he like, yo, look, I ain't know I had a baby mama. No, I was just playing.
I know she had them kids, man.
She told me she wasn't gonna do that.
That was a great moment in the comic because I think if I'm remembering correctly, the last page in that comic is him facing like the huge window and he cracks the glass. Like it's just I think it wasn't a splash page, was it a one page?
I don't know. I've only heard about this.
I think, but like the thing is, like he just kind of
panel, but you can see the glass crack, and you know, and I'm assuming that was the visual identity and the visual representation of the crack in the hole from the dark side on him. Maybe, who knows?
Yeah.
But back to the season, I do think that it's a fitting end to this series. I enjoyed these last 4 episodes. Should have just been a movie. Like cut out all the out the credits and just put it together.
Well, that's what it was like. That's why it was. You know, that's why we didn't get the intro that we normally would get, and we had the parts and like how it was. I mean, it would be really nice if they at some point released it as a movie. I heard like some people.
Hopefully next week they just put it up like, hey, this is the movie. If you just want to see this, because
it works as a movie. You know your Star
like those last 4 parts work.
They started with a movie and they ended with a movie. So even though technically they filmed the first season before they did the movie, but you know, whatever. True. You know.
But that's something that I've said for a long time. Star Wars should do more of. Star Wars should definitely do their DC animation thing with, I mean, because there's no reason we can't see, you know, like the young Han Solo run and like a little, say, 70-minute movie, you know what I'm saying, on Disney Plus or, you know, something like that. Even to something like the Mortal Kombat joint that just came out. Like something like that, you know. I'd love to see that. So yeah, hopefully, say next week or in a couple of weeks, they just upload the movie itself, and we get that.
I want Dave Filoni to direct everything. So long as Dave Filoni,
that's the problem. He can't do everything, but we want him to do everything.
Once Filoni jumps on, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm in. Sign me up, man. What's up, man?
That's why I'm waiting. I'm like, okay, so what's the next animated series? When are you gonna tell us? I mean,
I don't know. What next animated series is gonna be?
Is Resistance still current or is it done?
No, it ended.
It wrapped up, I think. I didn't watch that one yet, but
I wasn't. At the beginning, I wasn't like a fan of the animation style, but like once I'm like, okay, you know what? Doesn't matter. It's Star Wars. Just watch it. And then like, and I thought, you know, because like, you know how kind of Rebels and Clone Wars, you know, they started off, it's a kid's show, but like it gets darker, it gets more adult, it gets
that's how they do all their series. It's like it starts as a kid's show and then it kind of grows with them. But now with Disney Plus, the cool thing is you could have a kids show that doesn't have to grow at all, or just leave that to the Lego stuff and then be like, okay, here's our Lego kitty kid, here's our all ages that's kind of like Rebels, and here's like our adult joint, and they just flash like a thing like, hey, look, like we're not gonna cut away when somebody's head get chopped on this one. Like this is, like this is Disney, but just be aware there's gonna be, it's not gonna be rated R, but it'll be a little.
They need a Vader one, man. I would love a Vader standalone where Vader kills Jedi.
You know what would be seeing him in his prime would be great.
Yes, I want to see Vader being the
one that
universe, man.
What I would love. There's the book, the novel. Oh man, I am blanking on that. Well, you know what? The novel with Vader and Palpatine on that planet.
Mm-hmm.
What is it? I have stuff there, but it's all blocked. I can't see what the name is.
I can't remember the name of that.
But that would be an amazing like mini series or something, because it's just them on a planet running from like giant creatures. It's like if they were on a planet of Rancors. That's basically what it is. And you see Palpatine uses lightning, and they're fighting, and they get like into situations where they're like damaged, and like you see them be at their prime, and like, oh, that would be
I would love that.
Amazing.
Awesome.
Especially in animation, because you could do whatever you want.
Yeah, you could do whatever. Yeah, you have way more freedom. Yeah, agreed. Yeah.
Yeah, and you don't have to, because when it's animated, you're not really hampered by budgets. You know what I'm saying? You can kind of
not in the same way, at least
go as big as you want. And speaking of going as big as you want, they went hard in this like last movie. This last movie they did, not once but twice did Ahsoka go into like, I don't need no parachute. I'm gonna just go out there.
That was a beautiful scene, man. Yeah, her just jumping through exploding ships. That was phenomenal. Like proving once again, Ahsoka is just unmatched.
And it's dope because like in the last episode or in the movie, she makes eye contact with Rex, and she's like, I'm floating. Cool, I see you. I got you.
She's like totally calm. She is. And
then the other one, she's like, I'll race you down to the ground. Not only she goes down, beats up some people, then jumps out that one, runs over, flips, then literally goes onto a ship, saves the dude because he couldn't eject.
Oh, Matt, when they're going to Mandalore,
yeah. Then jumps off of that and heads to the perfect explosion behind her. I was just like, Ahsoka. Like,
Oh, and that explosion, that was good because that was
Ahsoka. She is the best.
No, you're not. I agree. She is my favorite non-Jedi. Like, she is. No questions asked. Integrity never lost with Ahsoka. It's always.
With me, I would contend that she's still a Jedi because even after she said, "I'm not a Jedi," that's just for me. That's just a semantic title. She lived out the creed with Trace. She's lived out the creed in Rebels. For me, Ahsoka is the pinnacle of what a Jedi should be. We've never seen Ahsoka not stand up for what was right and have people's back.
Yeah, every time.
She's always been in the fight, and she's always been helping people.
That's
and
true.
Then just to see her handle Darth Maul with no weapon, son, like, come on.
That was the stuff. I'm a fight scene guy, so like my favorite is when they go toe to toe, and I'm just like, this fight is awesome.
That's because they had Ray Park as Maul doing the fighting, so you're gonna get like that behind the scenes video. I was like, because I like kind of I knew he was gonna, but I forgot. And then even while watching it, they were moving so fast that I didn't really register it, that it was like his moves. And then when I watched the thing, I was like, yeah, that's right. That was him moving, wasn't it? Yeah, it was.
That's good, man.
All right.
I gotta give it to Maul. Let's talk about that. Like I like that Maul caught on to he put together Palpatine's plan.
A little bit, vaguely.
Snap!
Like, I want to know like how much. I mean, he obviously didn't know much, but like over the years, it kind of
enough. Yeah, he knew enough to snitch because he was he was dropping all kinds of dimes. He was like, he wants your boy Anakin. And the thing that made me mad about Ahsoka is I was like, yo, tell Yoda, man, tell him.
Yeah.
You know how in movies that cliche like, I can't tell you over the phone. I'll tell you.
I feel like she would have. I feel like she would have if Maze hadn't been like, well, you just said you weren't a Jedi, so bye. Like I was like, come on, Mace Windu. Like you've known her for like so many. Like,
Forever.
I mean,
Yeah.
I know, but and
No,
plus,
I
obviously,
don't know. I mean, tell Yoda. What is Yoda gonna do? He's gonna quit. Emperor gonna hit him with that lightning one time. Retirement. I'm out.
Oh shit! But
Retirement.
like,
Leave me alone.
I mean, they could have been like, well, actually, the information that the council had and the information that Darth Maul had would have easily told them.
Man, common sense should have told them, man. I ain't never give
it was that report that they had that was kind of left in the way, like it was there, all the information was there.
Common sense was there too.
Yeah.
Good old-fashioned common sense. The guy is clearly evil. He has literally a blue devil hanging out with him everywhere he goes. It's clearly him. I don't know how much evidence you need to figure this out. Like, it's ridiculous.
Well,
here's why I let them slide with the Chancellor. And I think this is why Darth Sidious used politics. There's so many politicians that are dirty anyway. So now you're wondering, am I getting this vibe from him? Am I feeling this from him because he's just a scandalous politician?
Yeah.
Or is he really the emperor? I think he knew I can hide in this circle because all of these people are hiding things. All of these people are being shady. So just being in the political sphere will help hide me because they'll be like, yeah, we don't like him. Something about it that ain't fitting right. But that's all of them. You know,
because
that's most of them besides Amidala maybe. And a couple others.
And remember, they couldn't, that's the only lens that they could really view it as because the dark side was clouding everything.
True.
And then remember the fact that under the Jedi Temple is a Sith Temple, which apparently, I can't remember which one of the books or whatever.
Yeah, one of the books revealed that.
It's
and I was like, why would you?
Well, so that's what that actually happens on a bunch of temples apparently, because what the Jedi were like was like, okay, we're going to put a temple here to kind of cleanse the dark side of thing. So, and I guess this particular temple, maybe just because Palpatine was there, he went down there and was doing things, whereas all the other temples, there's not much going on. So the dark side was kind of seeping into the temple and like messing with the.
Good point.
I mean, can you like? I still, after all these years, cannot fathom the level of organization and like the mindset in Palpatine. Like him planning like decades worth of like a war, like all of it, just all of it. You can't.
That's the beauty of the prequels is seeing the mastery and the manipulation of Palpatine and seeing how serious it was and just how good he was when it comes to managing people and controlling them and kind of like seeing where they're going to go. You know what I'm saying? Because there's a lot of moving parts if you want to manipulate a Senate and the separatists. Like now, I know one could say, "Look, you control the right people, you control it all," and he was. But at any of that time, it's a war. Any of these times, someone could die. Someone could, outside of war, just get ill and die. Somebody, so it's, that was a very dodgy game, and it came together for him. Even when some stuff kind of screwed up. Like
Maul was a big screw up. Like he did not expect the whole Maul thing. Like and then he had to go out and get him. He's like, well, everyone else is not going to do it. The Jedi obviously can't do it. So I'm just going to go and kill him and capture him. And
like he had a lot of potential. He had a lot of potential, partners and backups. Like okay. Maul didn't work out. Let's go with, all right. I'm still setting up Anakin. I
still got Grievous and Count Dooku. So
although
I'll do with Dooku. Fine.
He just stuck with Maul. I honestly, he would have probably been a little bit all right. I mean,
Maul's a lot better. But Maul grew because he wasn't under Palpatine. You got to question if Maul would have grew as much if Palpatine wasn't his master. Like Maul had to
Palpatine would have stunted his growth.
Yeah, agreed.
Speaking of Maul, man, when she set him loose, man, was he a distraction? Yes, but boy,
That was a Rogue One Vader scene.
Yeah.
That was what
him
that
free is like when you be in the hood and you walk around and you see a pit bull and they ain't got no leash. And you're like, yo, whose dog is this? like, hold up. Like, dude, all right, most people be like, okay, he's going to go get a shuttle and bounce. No, it's like, all right, we're going at warp speed or hyperdrive or whatever. I'm just going to destroy the hyperdrive. I don't even know what that'll do scientifically, but I don't care because I'm Darth Maul. So, I mean, dude could have killed himself doing that. He didn't care. Like, he is the Tupac of Sith. Like, Darth Maul on the real, man. Darth Maul is crazy.
No, it was good stuff. I mean, I like seeing Maul's grow too. I think the show, what I like about the Clone Wars is seeing Maul grow over the years too. So we got this villainous growth we got this heroic growth with Ahsoka the whole time. We also have this villainous growth. So I like that these two, when I saw that scene, they were going at it, I'm like, well, this is good because like you guys really are each other's like counterparts in this whole thing. Like
the
make a great combo versus thing going on with both of y'all because you guys.
They're both apprentices that are not
leagues and all this stuff and
they're both apprentices that aren't they aren't where they started. She's a Jedi that isn't a Jedi anymore, and he's a Sith that kind of isn't really a Sith, but he's still a Sith, but he's not a Sith.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And
then they kind of keep out the movies, like we're at the movies. We gotta. This is our show. Yeah. Like we don't get to be in another live action. Like this is this, but Ahsoka gets none. So this is our time. So I'm glad they focused on them. So I thought a lot of Anakin was going to be
true
in the last few episodes, and I was like, you know what? I'm glad it's not Anakin focused. Like we got enough Anakin in this whole saga.
Well, that's why he did it because he was like, we've seen their story, but we want to see where Ahsoka and Rex have been.
Yeah.
Nice. Also, I want to give props and love to this show. Out of all of their animated series, I think this one the most has helped make people look upon the prequels lovingly. Like, before this animated series started, people were like, I hate the prequels, they're stupid, I don't want to see them, blah, blah, blah. And the more we watched this series, I was like, it provided so much context. And
I gotta say, man,
it helped me look upon the prequels a little bit better. I would have definitely followed a different narrative through the prequels, but now I'm like a lot more interested in the prequels due to the animated series.
Well, here's the thing about me. The prequels is what brought me in. Like, I'll be honest, I'm the worst Star Wars fan ever. Like, the original Star Wars movie put me to sleep. As a 5-year-old, it was no magic for me. As a 10-year-old, no magic. I'm like, this is boring. Magic. So I come back to it and I start watching when the prequels come out. Well, let me go back and watch the original stuff. And then like, oh, I'm in. Like, I know they're not the most polished films, and I get it, but the weird politics stuff seem more apropos now than ever. And like, it's just, I've always enjoyed the fall of Darth Vader. Like, the fall of Anakin Skywalker was interesting to me. Maybe because I knew Luke was a champion. Like, growing up, I'm like, well, this dude's a good guy. He'll do good guy stuff. But seeing this chosen one go bad, even if it wasn't the best movies, I was like, dang, like, I never get to see chosen ones just go bad. Like, I mean, this dude killing kids by the third movie. I'm like, dang, this goes real bad. It's not polished. I get it. It's not polished at all. But I really do like it. I like his terrible. I like their terrible love story. I like how he's like, I just murdered a bunch of people, and she's like, oh, Annie. He's like, no, for real. It's like, okay.
I did it.
Even dictatorships, and she's like, oh, Annie. He's like, no, for real. I want to be a dictator. I'm not joking. And she's like, stop it. Let's fall in love. And all that stuff. But I'm like, no, he was being honest with it, man. This kid grew up in war and slavery. He's like, yo, what be in charge? Like, I'm not feeling it. Those are the
things that I wish they would have leaned a little bit more on. I wish we would have started, because I did this video with Jason Reeves where we like fixed the prequels. We're like, all right, cool, we're gonna fix it right now. But I definitely would have started with the older Anakin in the first place. But I would have loved to lean on a little, because I like political intrigue.
Yeah.
What we got, unfortunately, wasn't really political intrigue. Right. We did from the Chancellor, but the other stuff, I was just like, man, like, because I've seen political intrigue movies, secret documents. Is it the CIA? Is it the FBI? Is it the remote?
Yeah, that's cool.
That stuff could happen. But, with my version, it follows Bail a little bit more, because Bail already knows the Chancellor's dirty. but can't prove it because he saw the Chancellor kill somebody.
Right,
and he's like, he ain't no Jedi. How could he do that? And then the Chancellor knows, Bail knows. So the whole time, Bail is trying to stay in as many public events as possible to not be killed. And then also tell the Jedi. And you know what I'm saying? So it's like, you got this whole thing like, I got documents, I got the hologram video, and I got to sneak around.
I think his internet cut out.
Well, we lost it.
He'll come back. He'll have to come back, and since he's there, it is.
Yeah, we good. but with this, I think it provides so much more fun, so much more love into this series, and seeing it in the way it did is beautiful. I'm kind of sad to see it go, but also excited to see what we get next because we got more Mandalorian coming.
Especially with that rumor that who we might get on Mandalorian. We'll see.
Because I don't know if it's like straight up proven and confirmed yet.
Yeah, no, I mean it isn't, but the timeline, because it's 5 years after Jedi, 4 years after the Battle of Jakku, and the epilogue stuff happened. I'm pretty sure like it's either after episode 6 or after Jakku, something like that. There's but then that got me thinking like, I mean, if it's after that epilogue, we might even get a live action Sabine with her.
I wouldn't be mad at that. One thing which I would love to see animated is even though now that we see where Ahsoka is, it doesn't really fit anymore. But I would have loved to see some more of Ahsoka and Ventress together. I think they mix well in a very interesting way, where they're not the best of friends, but they're cool enough that where if they were thrown in a situation together, it would be nice to see how they play off of each other. I also still think Ventress has the sexiest evil voice there is. So
who's the voice? Is that Chris Summer?
I remember the voice.
She has a long list of.
Yeah, I know Chris Summer does a lot of voices.
She did an interview on Star Wars show or something like that, and I remember her name. I remember seeing her name, but I can't remember what it is.
Yeah.
But she's done a lot. She's done so many voices. I'm like, oh my god, that's why. That's why.
Yeah, and that's why I'm like, is it Chris Summer? Because she does most of the voices. Like,
I think it is. I think it is. Maybe.
I don't know. I don't think it is. I don't think it's Chris Summer.
Okay.
But yeah, like now with the possibility of getting Ahsoka in live action, the only question now is how involved will her role be, and does it need to be involved? Or is it just nice to see, because...
I mean, I'm good. I'm good at where she is on Rebels. And to me, it's like, the more you show her, the more I got to question why she didn't do more. So I'm just kind of like, if she out the picture, she out the picture. Because I got to question, why do I need Obi-Wan Kenobi when Ahsoka Tano is out in this universe? I can just go find Ahsoka. Why do I need that?
Nobody knows she's alive.
Futterman.
You know what I'm saying?
What's that?
The actress's name is Nika Futterman.
Okay, all right. Wow, yeah, no, I didn't know.
I mean, that's what I looked at.
No, it's good, yeah.
But the only thing is, now we know, okay, Ahsoka was alive, and she actually helped the rebels. Cool. And they freed Lothal. Great. If she, like you said, if she's in Mandalorian, you have to wonder, okay, well, where was she? Now,
where were you doing the rebellion, girl?
Now there could be a whole thing of, hey, Sabine and I went to search for Ezra, and it ended up being a dead end. And by the time we came back, it was, people were indoor dancing, So it's like, you come back like, hey, what a mess. That was rebellion, man.
That was the epilogue is after that. I think all those scenes more or less take place at the same time.
Yeah, I gotta watch Rebels again. My Rebels is rusty, so I gotta go back and watch that again. So.
Yeah, I'm still watching it like passively. I'm like in season 2 or something, like kind of watching it sparingly as I go along, and like.
Yeah, I gotta watch it again to remember all this stuff. So, but I'm happy where they are. she's a great. Regardless, you know, I watch the live action. I'm in. She shows up in Mandalorian. I'm in. Mandalorian's already a good show. So I'm in regardless. But you know, it you know, I don't know. I just like more Ahsoka. I'll take whatever I can get. I'll take it. I'm in for the Ahsoka. Whatever she got, I'm in.
It's like I'm down for Ahsoka. So, with that said, what are your? I'll start with Dan. What are some of your favorite memory in whether it's a scene or a whole episode from Clone Wars?
Well, I remember watch it. I remember like the movie premiere, like on like where I think it might have been Cartoon Network. Like I remember
saw it in the theater.
Huh.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so I remember like sitting there for the first time and like experiencing and being like, oh, you know, more Star Wars and like, and then you know, seeing Ahsoka and like I'm not one of the people who like hated her from the beginning, and I was like, ooh, Ahsoka, new like character. I was like excited for like everything, even like, you know, little baby Jabba, but you know, but no, it's just crazy. I can remember it, and then just generally whenever we get, you know, some cameo from some character from one of the movies or something, or you know, everything kind of, and that happened like even more on Rebels, like because that was like cameo centric, like everything from it, you know, Mon Mothma and all the and then all the moments. Like Rebels had a lot of like moments, like when like the Rebel fleet comes for the first, like all these kind of historic things that you always like wondered about, and like Clone Wars was different in, you know, because it wasn't, we didn't know what to expect because it was all kind of new.
And it was supposed to be between just these two movies, so
right.
And I remember even thinking to myself when I saw that it was coming between these two movies, I was like, how much can you tell between these two
years
movies? It's like it's 2
years. Then you're like, oh yeah, 2 years is a very long time.
Yeah, a lot of, especially
if you're talking about like day by day stuff, is like, and especially if you're at war across the galaxy, you know, there's a lot of stuff to get to.
Yeah. My favorite scene, I think, overall, all these episodes was really when Ahsoka is getting framed essentially, and it says, you know what, I'm not gonna play your political game, Jedi. I'm out. And I agree with you said that she's technically still a Jedi, and she's not being a political game and picks her off the pawn list from Palpatine to some degree. And I like that because I've always felt like, you know, Jedi, it's still on you. I still blame the Jedi. I'm like, it's kind of on you. Go give me your dark side, clouding your judgment, whatever, man. Y'all the protectors of the universe. Get it together. And so I'm just like, I like that she like, because they were being political, and that was what's always slowing them down. And Anakin is the dark side at where it's like literally where like the politics ruined him and made him kind of ruin him who he is, because his loyalty to the Jedi code or whatever couldn't let him betray them until he goes to betray them really, really bad, right? Like, so because he was so conflicted, he wanted their love and he wanted their respect so much, you know, like since he was a kid, right? He wanted it, and they kept like not giving it to him. He kept looking for that acceptance, and the Palpatine just twists that acceptance into hate so easily. Definitely. And he couldn't let it go. Whereas in Ahsoka was like, you know what? That's kind of jacked up that y'all thought I did this. I'm out, and I quit. And I was like, yo, like, that's amazing, you know. And I think that was to me, because that's what I you know, I wanted one Jedi to be like, man, come on, man. And that's what she did. It's like, nah, I'm gonna go do what I gotta do on my own. You know, I love y'all, but I gotta go.
Because even Anakin was like, he was like, look, it's okay, you can come back. You know what I'm saying? And she was just like, yeah. And so I'd have to agree. Outside of amazing action fight scenes, whether 1-on-1 or 1-on-2 or whatever, it's got to be Ahsoka. Here's why.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
They took a character that I was like, what do we need her for? We have Obi-Wan. We have Anakin. Let's do this. She's not even in the third movie. What do we need her for? But now we know why she's not in the third movie. But it's like, she's not even in the third movie. How important could she be? Next thing you know, she's quitting the Jedi Order, and I'm literally about to cry watching TV. That's how bad it was. Because I was like, no, you can't go. Not you. You're the best of us. You know, like you can't do this. You can't leave. They need you. And even Yoda in the final couple of episodes, when he looked at her, he was like, "More do you have to say or whatever?"
Right.
Because And I think even Yoda wanted to, and this is another thing, stop leaving things unsaid. I think Yoda wanted to go a little deeper into an apology or something like, look, we need you, or we were wrong, and like, would you please reconsider or something like that. But then you got Obi-Wan trying to act all hard. You know what I'm saying? Well, okay, first Ahsoka did step up like, look, I don't need y'all. so she, you know, she did bring a little, but it was warranted. But you know, Obi-Wan, like it's weird. He was just like on some like
that was a little bit weird for me too. I was like, I mean, come on, Obi-Wan, a little bit too hard on. Like, come on. I mean, I know, but and then, do you think if Ahsoka had had a chance to talk to Anakin one more time, do you think it would have made a difference?
Nah, I think he was gone by that point, man. I think he was so far gone. You know, like
I mean, like before. I mean, like when the meeting kind of was happening, cause like I mean, he was sitting in that conference room waiting for Mace to be done for a while. Like quick video chat with Ahsoka, maybe could have, because he was sitting there stewing in everything that was happening, conflicted, and like I feel like the one person that could have helped him through that would have been her, but obviously she was busy.
Yeah, like hey, look, I don't know what's going on, but Maul just told me this.
Right.
You know, well, she doesn't know Palpatine, but I mean, because she's like, hey, Darth Sidious. But with this information, it's like, yeah, if Sidious is grooming you, who's the only guy who's been around you in a fatherly role for years? Oh, it must be Palpatine.
Yeah. Well, you know what the one, because you know we have all these gaps between episodes or gaps between series or whatever, and you know the 2 years between this and 1 year between that. The one period of time that I would really love to dive into would be between episodes 1 and 2. It's a decade worth of probably the most
10 years.
Because it's seeing him develop, like Anakin develop. And we got that one novel we got that one comic series that got canceled. I guess it wasn't very popular, but like and I was like, oh, this is what I want to know, because I want to know, because he's you know, kind of the same, you know, like he's the same kind of general base personality from episodes 1 and 2. He's still a kid, but I want to see like how he got to that point.
Yeah, because there's training.
The training with Obi-Wan is important.
Also, Obi-Wan growing into that role, because he was pretty young when he started training Anakin.
Yeah, because he was just starting out being a knight. Like he was learning kind of to be a knight as he's teaching Anakin. Like it's like, and it's so much. There's so much.
It's good. It's
10 years. 10 years is a good amount, and then we get to see what I really wanted to see in The Last Jedi. I would really like to see the main difference between training a Sith and training a Jedi. And I mean, we know about the values and everything, but at the end of Force Awakens, and I know this is not for me to dump on any movie. I don't care. It's over. I'm glad it's over, and then everybody can leave it alone. But at the end of Force Awakens, he's like, bring Kylo Ren to me so I can finish his training. And then I'm like, oh, cool. So Rey's going to go over here. She's going to get her training. So now we're going to see what it's like to train as a Sith as opposed to a Rashad already laughing. Rashad like, you ain't get that.
What I'm interested in is, since we're diving into the High Republic, you know, the next upcoming era of Star Wars, and that's going to be really interesting because we'll get that training, but
hopefully
because it's, well, cause, you know, I don't know, we're going to get probably movies and series and comics and like everything.
Yeah, everything.
It's going to be interesting because it's not going to be the Jedi Order that we're used to. I mean, this is like they're the top of the galaxy. They're basically what I think the description on there was like that they're kind of like royalty.
Yeah, because
it's like, so we're going to see a different type of
the Old Republic.
Yeah,
sort of, you know, era. Yeah. So the Jedi.
Although I think the Old Republic is like
oh, even further?
Thousands. I think it's even further than that, because this is only like 5,000 or 2,000 years or something before.
don't
And
know
like I
about
think the
all
Old Republic is like 20,000. It's
Oh.
old.
that. Oh wow.
So yeah, that would be a very different Jedi Order.
Yeah, so we might see
And
what it should have maybe could have been like. Because also something that someone mentioned on an interview or something somewhere was that Ahsoka was kind of shaped the way she was because she had her two teachers were very different from each other. So she learned kind of to take the best parts from Obi-Wan, the best parts of
Yeah,
Anakin.
that's true. Yeah.
And a lot of people were saying that she kind of seems like she like Qui-Gon and her would have got along because he kind of maybe was more Jedi than the Jedi.
Yeah.
And Ahsoka is kind of even in the I think in one of the after show things, Dave Filoni mentioned that she, like, you know, when they were asking her, like they were talking to her about like how those two sisters viewed the Jedi, and like at the end of it or whatever, she says, "You're the most Jedi. Like if all Jedi are like you, it would be better." And like, because I think maybe she represented what the Jedi should have been.
Herself for them to get
Right.
away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
No,
saying?
it was great. No, it was those are some great character building moments for her too. Pretty much her sad year, you know. And I like that, like when she's figuring it out, when she got to go join the saga again. And so yeah, that's good stuff. Yeah. Agreed.
So with that said, guys, holla at us. We'll holla at you down in the comments. Let's talk Star Wars. Let's talk the Clone Wars. It's pretty unanimous. We like the last season. We enjoy the Clone Wars, which I think is probably their best animated series. I do like Rebels, but the character designs, there's other things about it that kind of rub me wrong a little bit, but I still enjoy the series. But Clone Wars is super dope. Holla at us before we get out of here. Dan, where can the wonderful people find you?
Pretty much, you know, Jedi Time Saying on Twitter.
Woo-hoo.
That's where I kind of mostly stay. I mean, I have other social platforms, but Twitter's pretty much where I have all my stuff.
And I'm on Instagram, Rashad Doucet. I'll pick up my books on any comic store. I do comics all day. So just look up Rashad Doucet. There's not too many people named that, so easy to find.
And what's the name of those books?
Oh, like one of them is Alabaster Shadows, children's book I did last year called Jeremiah Justice Saves the Day, by a little kid superhero with a tracheostomy tube. And the proceeds for that one goes to charity. So if y'all buy that, that's great because that will go to a charity to help out people with those things. But Alabaster Shadows is from Only Press. I've also done some Rick and Morty covers and some other things over the years. But just look it up and you'll get on it. You'll find it. Cool. Believe it or not, type my name in. There's not too many me, so there's no competing. Not a lot of stuff, but there's some stuff, so you can get it. And I got new stuff on the way, hopefully. But yeah, just pick up a book and find me on Instagram. That's where my primary social media is. Rashad Doucet there. So yep.
Dope. And of course, NERDSoul, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Thank you guys for coming through. YouTube, make sure you hit a thumbs up. If you hit a thumbs down, I'm going to have to send Ventress after you. But with that said, of course, go on and subscribe. Share this out to your friends. And until next time, this is from us to you saying peace.
Peace, man.
Yeah. Peace. Oh, man. So, yeah, look, you know the deal. Just watch that stuff and then watch it again. I've already watched the last episode like 3 times. So, anyway, we out for real. We out.